My name is Ashmita, and today I'm here to present you this paper that we, Justus, Sophie, and Emma, who communicate here today, have been working on for the last 1.5 years. Yeah, if there are any questions, please feel free to interrupt me. Let's start. How do companies manage the environmental sustainability of AI? An interview study about green AI efforts and regulations is the title of the paper. Oh. Do you have like a, is it not working? Oh yeah. So starting off with why we come with this research. So the power of AI is increasing every day, and AI-based systems appear ever in all sorts of businesses worldwide. Research has shown that the AI enthusiasm grows, and more organizations have decided to adopt AI in at least one way or another. However, this increasing power of is there a mic? But here? Yeah. Oh, no. Oh, okay. Yeah, no, of course. Yeah, you're right. Did someone say it? Okay. I'm sorry for the people online, but okay. Yeah, so however, the increasing power of AI doesn't only lead to enthusiasm, but also to concern. And the concern is not entirely justified. Yeah, please. In my opinion. So to give you an idea of the environmental cost of AI, Gen AI chatbots such as the very much popular ChatGPT produce an estimated 13 million kilograms CO2 per year. And this is only with an inference of 11 million prompts per hour, which is not that much, let alone the cost of training such models. So this is one of the reasons why it is so important to focus on green AI, which is a growing field, for those of you who don't know, that focuses on reducing the negative environmental impact of AI technologies. So a critical step towards achieving green AI is understanding what companies are currently doing to minimize the environmental impact of their AI-based software and what challenges they face in doing so. So we noticed a lack of a clear, structured overview of current green AI practices and obstacles that companies encounter. So creating such an overview is important to identify which practices are effective or are not for different types of organizations. So lastly, it is essential to explore these topics through the lens of two key regulatory frameworks, namely the EU AI Act and the CSRD, the Corporate Sustainability Reporting Directive. Understanding how these regulations influence companies not only helps assess their effectiveness, but also reveals how aware organizations are of their environmental responsibilities when it comes to AI. So right now, it is still unclear how these regulations are perceived by practitioners. I mean, do they find them motivating, or are they seen as obstacles to green AI initiatives? That's why our research aims to shed light on how these professionals, so the people that use AI, view the environmental sustainability of AI and how their perceptions are shaped by the EU AI Act and the CSRD. So more specifically, we address the following research questions. Starting off with how is a company's adoption of AI influenced by AI's negative impact on the environmental sustainability, if it is influenced by this impact at all. The second question would then be, how do companies adopting AI currently try to minimize its negative environmental impact? So do they monitor the impact of the AI systems they use? What do they do to minimize it? The negative impact on the environment. And then lastly, how do the EU AI Act and the CSRD influence the adoption of AI and the mitigation? So how do these regulations influence the answers given before? So with this research, we hope to bridge the gap between, on one hand, the research done on the negative environmental impact of AI, which is clearly there, and the actual adoption and use of AI in companies and organizations. It is important to know if such companies consider this impact on AI on the environment, when they adopt and use AI. The insight gained from this research is essential for having like a reference point from which further reduction rules and regulations can be assessed. So let's go quickly over the study design. We decided to conduct semi-structured interviews with the professionals working in a field where they use AI. The interview guide created were made using the IPR technique. Each interview began with some background information on the person that I was interviewing. So what are you doing in the job? How long have they been working there? Other work experience. And then we explored how AI is used in the company that they worked for, why certain AI tools were adopted, and whether potential environmental impacts were considered in the process of adopting AI. Then after we focused on what companies are currently doing to monitor and reduce the environmental impact of AI systems. So now that they have adopted AI, what are they doing to minimize this negative impact? And then finally, we discussed how the CSRD and the EU AI Act are influencing company practices, both in general and specifically in relation to AI's environmental footprint. Once all interviews were completed, we transcribed them and thematically analyzed the data to see what patterns we could find. So this is better than in discussion because I think you can actually see it. To be eligible for this research, the participant had to be able to provide information on the adoption and use of the AI-based software regarding its environmental sustainability, with or without being a part of an AI adoption board. Obviously, that was my preference in the beginning of my research, but we quickly found out that was kind of a struggle. So if you were able to tell us anything about the adoption, we were happy to have you join the research. Participants were mostly recruited through our own network and also the network of the VU and a consultancy company, Accenture. We ended up with 11 participants from 10 different companies, ranging from a humanitarian NGO to banking companies. As you can see, many participants have a background in IT and quite some working experience. There are only 2 participants who had a working experience less than a year, So let's move on to the interesting part, the results. All participants were actually, not all of them were Dutch specifically, but working in the Netherlands. Ranging from bigger companies, international companies, to like smaller companies founded in the Netherlands also. And then I see a typo again, but I thought I took it out because it's how is a company's adoption of AI, not Gen AI specifically, but AI, influenced by AI's negative impact on environmental sustainability. So we started off by asking the participants, okay, so what were the primary drivers for adopting AI? And most of them said efficiency actually in the broadest way, but mostly referred to work efficiency, I imagine. Some people were honest enough to say that they jumped on the hype train of AI because they saw like happening or you're being used by other people, and so they tried using it as well. Then some different use cases. There are many use cases mentioned, actually. Some people mentioned more than one. The chatbot is used a lot, ChatGPT or other chatbots by other companies. Data processing analysis, forecasting, translating. I'm sorry, it's not that big. And interestingly, there was one person mentioning how they used AI for sustainability. And our research focuses on the sustainability of AI. So there was a very interesting conversation there because AI can be so good for sustainability, but this person specifically was not really aware of the sustainability of AI. So that was nice to discuss. Then, so what are the concerns that people could think of when thinking of the sustainability of AI? Important to mention is that something that I was relieved with, that all participants were aware of the negative environmental impact of the AI-based software that they adopted. So all of them knew that there was at least, that it had an impact on the environment, and a negative one. Most of them mentioned the most popular problem, carbon footprint. Some mentioned the energy consumption, and luckily there was also one participant who mentioned the water use problem, which is also a very valid concern in my opinion. And there were two participants who were concerned that their organization did not take the negative environmental impact of AI seriously enough, or kind of ignorant of this true impact, which was very interesting and honest of them to mention. So
one person who people that kind of option, or does it really not be applied like company-wide?
no, actually that we consider that in this research as adoption. So yeah, because like there's just like one day where you can be like, hey, ChatGPT, how can I write like a nice, please give me an outline for a nice presentation. Does that mean adopting? In this research, it does. It's just, the easiest ways of using AI, because we want to emphasize in the research that that this is how it starts. So I'm not saying that there's like the biggest negative environmental impact from asking ChatGPT one prompt, but with one prompt it starts. So we definitely consider that also as adoption in this research. Good question, actually. So for the second research question, we then focused on, okay, so now you guys are adopting AI, you're using it. What are you doing to minimize its negative environmental impact? We started asking them, hey, are you guys monitoring the effect in the first place? There was actually only one participant who did so using Cloud Carbon. The other participants mentioned that they are not monitoring this negative environmental impact of AI specifically. What interesting was that there was a participant who said, no, we are not monitoring the negative environmental impact of AI tools we use. The thing we are using, which is a proxy for it, is a number of tokens, better said, the number of computes. And if you know the number of computes, then it's fairly easy to compute what the footprint of your AI system is. But then they didn't compute that part. So this is interesting to find out because they don't feel the need or the pressure to do so. And it's interesting for governments to know that there is for but where's the previous recording? Oh, okay. Ah, okay, perfect. I don't know. Yeah. So yeah, and then there was someone who mentioned prompt engineering. So instead of prompting 10 times to a chatbot to get to the answer you want, you learn how to properly prompt and yeah, get to the answer you want immediately. So then what were the challenges that arose during trying to mitigate the negative effects? Many people are quite some participants using AI solutions from other companies in a certain way blamed them for not being transparent enough and not taking enough responsibility in letting their users know what the footprint is of the product they're selling. Some of them said, you know, we have a lot of other things that we need AI for now. So it has a lower priority to focus on sustainability of AI. Participant mentioned that there was no budget provided for monitoring, mitigating. So these are interesting challenges that can be improved in the hopefully near future. Nope. And then the last research question focusing on the regulations revealed that the impact of the EU AI Act was none. But for your idea, I took these interviews like a year and a few months ago. So at that time, the EU AI Act was not even released. So it was not really surprising to me, to be honest. And the only person who was considering the EU AI Act was the person who was most interested in all developments concerning AI. So I was also not surprised with that. CSRD has been in, how do you say that, working longer. So there were some bigger companies who, yeah, I mean, they can also not say that they were not complying because that would be like not like really a good answer for their company. I would obviously not mind. It would be even better if they would just be really honest about it. But I felt like they felt the need to give like these perfect answers. And there were some companies who were not applicable to the CSRD because they were not big enough. So this is only like a very small beginning, I would say, this research, because a lot of other research still needs to be done, in my opinion, on this matter, by using like way broader sample of people, more diverse backgrounds, because many people I interviewed had a background in IT, but AI is used in hospitality, media, you name it. Everyone uses AI these days. And obviously, there should be research done on the long-term effects, especially on the EU AI Act. And monitoring and measurement techniques should be improved and more accessible for people. And how that can be done should be researched. And there should be a focus on interdisciplinary collaboration, where there's people who know a lot about sustainability and a lot of people who know about IT, that they work more together. That's what I hope to see in the future, and I hope to work on myself as well. So that was actually it for me. I'm very curious to see if you guys have any questions or